Okay, this is part two of tonight's session that we're doing, and we're talking about evidence for proving that the rapture is a pre-tribulation rapture and it does not occur at the end of the tribulation. Again, this is not a theory. This is actual evidence proven by the scripture. You know, you shouldn't base your beliefs upon what someone's told you or even upon one particular verse. I find most people that don't believe in the pre-tribulation rapture have taken one verse that they quote. Most of them quote, the scripture that says that he that endures unto the end shall be saved, talking about the people that will endure through the tribulation. And they claim that's, talking about the rapture or that will happen at the end of the tribulation. Of course, that's not talking about he that endures unto the end. That is talking in reference to the tribulation believers who become believers during the tribulation, and those part of the nation of Yasharel or Israel that also have come to faith in the Messiah. That's who that particular verse is talking about. But I find that most people don't really do the study that they should do, and I'm not telling you just take my word for everything. Do your own study. But the fact is that it's good and it's important for you and I to know what you believe. In other words, don't say you believe in pre-tribulation because I said so or because someone else has told you that. You ought to have a knowledge about the verses in the scripture that reveal the rapture and that reveal that it happens before the tribulation, and you should know where to go for those verses. And so that's why it's important to study this out. I've done a number of videos about this subject that you can go back and listen to and get a good foundation of why you believe what the scripture has to say, which is that there is going to be a rapture of the church and it's going to happen before the tribulation period. Now, I want to read from my notes tonight before we go any further. And I've written here, there are at least two events which occur in heaven for which the church must be present, and which therefore cannot take place until the rapture occurs. Number one, the judgment seat of Messiah takes place in heaven before Messiah returns. If you read in the book of Revelation, you'll find this to be accurate, that the judgment seat, in other words, the judgment, and by the way, this is a judgment, not deciding if you enter into heaven or not. This is a judgment of rewards for your service that you've shown to the Messiah. And the works that you and I have done that have been led of the Ruach, have been led of the Spirit, and have the true motivation behind them will be rewarded for those deeds that we've done in the flesh. And then other deeds that we've done that haven't been motivated by love, or if they've been motivated by self rewards, you will not receive a reward. But the fact is, you'll be allowed to. All true believers will be raptured and be allowed into the kingdom of Yahuwah. But as far as the judgment seat of Messiah, it's a judgment for rewards of things that you've done in the flesh. So that's one thing that has to happen before the second coming takes place. It says in Romans chapter 14, verse 10, for we all must stand before the judgment seat of Messiah. Again, you'll find that in Romans chapter 14, verse 10. Everyone that will receive the things done in his body according to that which he has done, whether it's good or bad. You'll find that in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. Now, the other thing is the marriage of the Lamb will take place before the second coming of the Messiah. You can read this in Revelation chapter 19. So there has to be a judgment of the body of Messiah before the second coming. There also has to be the marriage of the Lamb. You'll find this in Revelation chapter 19 in the first 8 or 9 verses. I can't remember exactly, but in the latter part of Revelation chapter 19, you'll see the Messiah returning to rescue the nation of Yasharel at the Battle of Armageddon. And with him, we will be coming back with him, as the scripture says, and we will be clothed in our righteousness. And in fact, it says, talking about us, the church, it says, and to her was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. Of course, this is as a result of the cleansing judgment seat of Messiah. You'll find this in Revelation chapter 19, verse 7 and 8. Both these events occur prior to Messiah's return to earth, and thus demand a prior rapture. It is clear that the second coming cannot occur until these two vital events, which demand the presence of the church in heaven, have already taken place. It's only after the Lamb has been married to his bride that she accompanies him back to rescue Israel, or Yasharel, and to destroy the Antichrist and his armies. And the armies which followed him clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And of course, this is symbolic of the righteousness of the saints. And you'll find this in Revelation chapter 19, verse 14. So, this is just more evidence that you can build your faith upon. The fact is that there is going to be a rapture. It is going to be those that are born again, true believers in Messiah, Jew and Gentile, and you will be caught up to meet Messiah in the air. And at that moment, we will stand before the judgment seat of Messiah to receive the rewards done for the kingdom of Yahuwah. And then the marriage supper of the Lamb, the marriage of the Lamb will take place. We will return with Messiah at the end of the tribulation to help, to accompany, because we really won't help. There's nothing for us to do. He will destroy the enemies of Yasharel with the breath of his mouth by just speaking, and he will defeat the armies and the enemies of Yasharel. But we will accompany him back to the earth at that time for that purpose, to set up his kingdom, his earthly kingdom on the earth. And again, I've already shared with you, though, our eternal home is the New Jerusalem, which will descend down from heaven. And the church, that is our home. The scripture says that nothing that is impure will be allowed to enter that city. That's why we have to have a resurrected body in order to live there. And so there'll not be a natural people being able to enter into that city, because even though they may be saved during the tribulation, they will not experience their physical resurrection. The people that are saved during the tribulation will help repopulate the earth. During this 1,000-year reign of the Messiah, Jew and Gentile believers, and they'll be living in their natural state, their natural bodies, and they will experience their resurrected bodies at the end of the millennium. At least that's what seem to have to take place. We know that the judgment of unbelievers takes place at the end of the millennium. And so we'll pick this up on our next session together. So I hope this is encouraging you, building your faith upon the fact is that the rapture is a pre-trib rapture, and it will not happen any other time frame but before the tribulation. May Yahuwah bless you in all that you do. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. That's what the Messiah spoke to the disciples. He said, you'll not see me until you say, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah, which translated is, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. And of course, that's him, the Messiah. Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahuwah our salvation. Shalom.